Hi all, and this is a vlog that I've been promising off the back of a couple of other vlogs that I've done with some of the DJI equipment. And from the outset, obviously no affiliation to DJI, certainly not sponsored by them, would be nice, but I just wanted to sort of give a little bit of a review on some of the equipment, tell you about a recent experience I've had. Hopefully it will interest some of you, and obviously help you to make an informed decision if you're looking at sort of a vlogging camera, what sort of vlogging camera you're looking at, stuff like that. So I'll start off with, and I think this is not supposed to come across as big-headed or flippant in any way, but it is. I've been very fortunate to have a few of their their equipment, and I think I'm in a good position to be able to sort of say to you what I think worked and what hasn't for me, and it's honest. It's it's individual preference, and what works for you may not work for me, and vice versa. So just when you're listening to what I'm saying, just bear that in mind, that not everything I say is going to be relevant to you and such like. So we'll start off with my least favourite of the three that I've got, and I'm just looking where the camera is. There it is there. Okay, so this is the Nano. Okay, now I really thought this was going to be a bit of a game changer for me, because obviously you can take it off, so it goes into two, so you can actually just use this if you want to, but the battery on it is not great off the dock. So I've always had it on there, but if you then have to have sort of a magnet on here like this, it's quite bulky. So it's I'm sure it has its purpose, but it isn't one of my favourites that they've done. What I use this for more and more now is upside down like that, and I have it in the car as sort of a bit of a oh goodness, not a traffic cam, but I think we all know what I'm talking about. Should it pick up anything, but that relies on you hit and record when you get going and all that sort of stuff. So it's not perfect, but that is sort of what I use it for more and more now, if I'm honest with you. So yeah, that is that one. My newest acquisition, the Action 6, and I had this DJI handle which allows you to record, obviously swap screens if you want to, and also some other settings there, and also this is charging the camera at the same time. Now I had this for the Action 4, and sorry, I'm just trying to keep myself in it. I had this for the Action 4, and obviously a lot of their stuff you can transfer from one to another, so from that point of view, a really great acquisition. I have changed this lens. This lens is not a DJI one. This is a polarized one, so it helps. If you're filming in the sunlight, it actually helps with the glare. So it's actually quite a good thing. I've got it from Amazon. I've literally used this once, guys, and that was this morning, and I used it in, I think it's super night mode when I first went out, and then I changed it to 8K. Now I'm just going to talk to you a little bit about the 8K on it. Now the recording of it is very straightforward. Sorry, it's there. You can't see it. It's very straightforward from that point of view. You just obviously change the modes and all that sort of thing, and that is all very straightforward. What is not straightforward, and what I don't think I've read anywhere, is that to transfer it from the camera, you have to have a PC or an Apple Mac, or a laptop or a MacBook. You cannot move the information from your camera onto your iPad or your phone directly. So just bear that in mind. If you are recording in 8K, you will not get it off. The only way I think you would do it, and I'm just thinking about this out loud, is if you're doing it on the SD card and you've got an SD card reader, sort of one of these converters, you might be able to do it that way, but I'm not sure you could. And I know no iPad that I know of has got an SD card reader. So do bear that in mind, guys, because it is something that I don't think I read anywhere, and B, I had to YouTube it to find out how to do it. So it is not a straightforward, you know, plug and play sort of thing. Not in 8K anyway. I am currently doing a download as we speak for a reference to the 8K. Yeah, it's one of, you know, it's one of those things, isn't it, where you know, it's nice to have, and you know, as I say, I've got one doing a download at the minute. It'd be quite interesting to see, you know, what it looks like once it's all downloaded. I have looked at the video, and the picture looks pretty good. What I will say is, though, when I did the recording this morning, hence why I was saying to you about the super light mode, is that the it was, you know, not dark, but it was, shall we say, getting light, dawn, shall we say, and the super light mode was really good. As soon as I switched it to the 8K, it did become a bit dark, but it was all right. It wasn't too bad, so just bear that in mind. And obviously I'll come on to the pocket one I've got in a moment, but the reason I've got the Action 6 is because it's waterproof. It's a bit more robust if you go to the beach, that sort of stuff. So from that point of view, that is why I've gone for it. Because I know some people have already said, well, why have you got an Action 6 and a Pocket 4? You know, but the Pocket 4 is a bit more eloquent, shall we say, perhaps a little bit more, you know, not quite as in your face. And I think that's a really useful thing if you're doing sort of, you know, vlogging, you know, out and about in an airport, you know, confined space, whatever you're doing. You know, I think the Pocket 4 is a good option. Anyway, I'll just carry on to some of these accessories I've got. So I've got the, goodness, that is got for the Action 6, that is 3 batteries, and this is the charger as well. Well, they are fully charged at the minute. But yeah, that's a really good thing, you know, to have your batteries. Don't use these as much as I should. But these are the mini mics, as you can see. Really handy, especially if you are going somewhere where there is music and stuff like that, because you can put the noise reduction on, and that really is a game changer. This is the handle that the I'm not sure the camera actually came with a handle. Whether I got the Action 4 with a bundle, I don't know, but I've got this handle, and it is the Osmo One. So yeah, probably it did come with the camera, but this is the floaty one. So again, you know, when we go to SeaWorld, Discovery Cove later on this year, that is the handle I'll have to be using, because this is the floaty handle. And then going on to the Pocket 4. Now, as you can see, I'll just open it up very quickly. The Pocket 3 did not have any of this here. It had this and it had this, but it did not have the zoom in and obviously flip screen. This obviously button does other stuff as well. And also I've got the battery handle on it as well, which again gives you a little bit more charge. I really like this. The only thing sort of you obviously can't do, and whether they'll do an update in due course, is 8K. And also the good thing is you've got the internal storage on both of them. And again, that is for me that's a game changer, because if you haven't got you know, you fill your SD card up, you can switch it to the internal drive. You know, you get however long with that. An experienced blogger will always have a couple of SD cards, and yes, and we all know that. But even the best of us sometimes forget, and to have that extra space, as I say, is a game changer in my opinion. So What I'll say is I'd say the Pocket 4, as I explained earlier on, is a bit more eloquent, and I would use that for non-water or beach activity, stuff like that. And they both have their place in my little setup. I think that's fair to say. And I rate them both. You know, I've used them both almost sort of simultaneously. Over the last couple of mornings, did the same things, and they both sort of did very, very well. If that is something that interests you, sort of seeing the footage from both of them, the Pocket 4 was Friday, the Action 6 was Saturdays. So I think one came out at 6 o'clock on Friday, which would have been the 7th, and hopefully the Action 6 one is going to be coming out on the 8th. If not the 8th, it will definitely be out on Sunday. So yeah, look out for that if you're interested in that. But ultimately, I've had the Action 4 before these. I've had the Pocket 3 before these, and I've currently got 2 drones as well. So the equipment is amazing, and that's what I was just about to come on to, their customer service. And I said I'd touch on this at the beginning. I got the Pocket 4, and it had a fault with it. It was springing the SD cards out. And I came out of a solution that if I was just going to be in this country, yeah, I could probably cope with it. But because we're going to some hot places in the upcoming year or two, putting the sellotape around the camera and to stop the SD card port opening to the card flying out was not a viable option with, you know, condensation and humidity, stuff like that. So I contacted them. And they were very good after a few questions. Some of them were a bit silly in my opinion, but they sent me a delivery note, got it in a box, sent it back to them last Sunday. Heard that they'd got it by the Tuesday, they'd repaired it by the Wednesday, and I had it back in my hand at midday on Thursday, and it was a new one. It wasn't repaired. They haven't repaired my old one. They'd given me a brand new one. You know, that is good service, guys. You know, it's very good service, and you can't knock it. So overall, very impressed with the new equipment. One thing on the Pocket 4, I think, and I made this comment on the vlog, where when you're in night mode, you can't use the zoom. And I think that is actually the same on the Action 6 as well, from what I saw. I didn't play too much around with the zoom on that, to be fair, this morning, but the Action 4, the Pocket 4, with it all, you know, at your thumb, sort of, you know, it's a lot easier to try and use. So I hope it sort of helps people a little bit, you know, with, you know, decisions when you're sort of looking at stuff, because as I say, I've been very fortunate now to have, you know, quite a lot of their equipment. I think these two are my 5th and 6th, 5th and 6th and 7th sort of drone or camera. Obviously I've got some accessories, so, you know, I do speak from a good place, and I would be honest if I had, you know, I've told you what they don't do, I've told you what they do, and I can't be that negative about them, I really can't. So as I say, I hope this helps people, and we'll catch up next time. Thank you, guys.